Welcome. This is Boaz Kumete, aka King Boaz. Where I come from, when I arrive, I'm supposed to give people some praise, poems, and everything. But I know nothing about the totems of this brother of mine. But what I know is
I'm a
his being.
Shumba.
He's been around forever. Yeah, Shumba.
Shumba, Mira Shumba.
Can you can you go on? Can you give me Mira Shumba and then what happens? What happens?
No, I just know that I'm a Shumba. By like Tvaira Shumba, right? And then I'm an August baby, so virtually in the zodiac I'm a Leo as well. So it seems to follow me. The only thing that's missing is a dreadlock. That's the only thing missing at this point.
Yeah. So this is a brother whose name I no longer have like a certain of what's his name now because it changes a lot.
A lot.
He's born as such at the moment on
Yes,
Facebook. We
on
don't know how
Facebook,
long
yes.
that's going to last.
But McPotar is always the running name. No matter
Makpora,
what's happening, that's always like
so
the main name.
Makpora is the foundation is
Yeah,
there.
that's a foundational name
Yeah.
for real.
So
Yeah.
what's this business of changing names? What's happening when you wake up and decide no, today I want to call myself something else, and then it's
Okay. On one end, it's impulsive. It's very impulsive. On another end, however, it used to be security protocol
all right.
for certain individuals not to be able to find me by my name.
Name. Ah, okay.
Okay, so there is that, right?
Yeah.
And when I was in a certain place or in a certain space at a certain time, I didn't want people from certain sectors because me, I'm not only in arts, remember,
Yeah.
being able to find me as easily as possible. So if you didn't know that I'm called McPotar,
Yeah.
then good for then I'm not on Facebook. That's that's one of it. But then with
Yeah.
that, some of the names would be jokes, right?
Yeah.
Dochinja Mastapandadira, whatever. I'm trolling, but it's still a security protocol, but I'm trolling within it. And then some of the names would be like bonus age. It's an affirmation. Like I've always given myself affirmative names, just like you. I think you didn't choose your name randomly, like King. It's what Boaz. How do I say that one?
Yeah. King
It's,
Boss. Yeah, that's the one.
I don't think anyone arrives at that name randomly. That's something that you contemplated and you decided that you like the manifestation of what that means or who that person was, right?
Yeah.
So for me, even McPotar, of course, McPotar at base level, Michael Mpotaringa, it's like Mark Potter, MC Potter. That's where it began. But then when I was 19 or something, it became making consistent pursuit of truth and reason,
All right.
or mainly creating opportunities, time and resources, or we can go on. You get what I'm saying? I used to have this acronym thing where
Yep.
I even my first blog, I think the first McPotter.blogspot.com was had had a subtitle like poetry, P.O.E.T.R.Y. Pouring
Yeah.
out expressions to reach you. So I used to like this thing of making. So me, when I'm in a certain season in life, in general, and I used to encourage people to do this. Uh, I can title myself something
All right.
and have a name, whether it's known to the public or not. But I'll be having that name, and I call myself that name. And
Yeah.
then over time, it's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Whatever that name is attached to, it happens. And sometimes good or bad, because with every name, let's say you call yourself King Boaz. I don't know if he had victories, of course, but I'm sure he had wars. There's certain things that are going to happen also on the other end. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you, by
Definitely.
taking that name,
Yeah.
you have to kind of carry that. You have to carry that name and be that name.
Yeah.
So me, I actually have that belief that names matter a lot.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice. So now, next time you change your name, we will know that. Okay, when SH is gone, something
Yeah,
else is
but you'll be
happening
able to
now.
tell if it's trolling. If it's silly, I'm trolling. It's not.
Yeah. Not many things, bro. Like I've spoken to you before, and we've never been able like to exhaust who
Okay.
you are. But one of the things that probably people don't know about is that you are a dentist.
Okay.
Besides
Yes.
everything else that you do, you're a dentist. So where do you get the time to do what you do and what you get to see?
And
Because we
and do
consume
dental work.
a lot. Yeah, we consume a lot of your creations. We consume a lot of your content compared to what we see in terms of your dentist career. I know I've spoken to you a few days back. You're still at work. You said that you're still working. So when do you get this time? How do you find this balance?
Or
Because
how do I find the
some,
time?
the balance, yes,
Okay, the
to
balance
pursue,
to
yeah, the
pursue that
art and still be a
and
dentist.
still
Yeah,
be active. No, I
yeah,
think everybody does have time to do whatever it is that they want to do.
yeah.
What happens is like dental work. I'm a dental clinician. I'm a dental therapist, not a dentist. Actually, there's a
Okay,
difference between that. But we pretty much do almost the same things. The thing
all right.
is, there is no surgery I've ever worked at personally. There are some people who work at busier surgeries. I've got a friend who works in Nail Street, and they're always busy. But pretty much most of us, I might see 3 patients a day or 4 people, and that's good enough. Actually, that might be a lot of revenue for the practice, right?
Yeah,
But then I don't see them for more than an hour or for more than 30 minutes most of the time. So most of my day, I'm not actually doing anything. Most of my day, if I'm in the neighborhood that I work in, I could get out, I could move around, I could window shop, I could go back, I could sit on the dental chair, I could recline it, I could listen to music, I could watch podcasts. That's number
all right.
one. So there's
Yeah,
already that time in there, right? Number
yeah,
two, suppose I have a busy day. There's some days where I can have a fully blocked out day, especially Saturdays or Friday, or it depends what's
yeah,
going on, what's the season, right? Even then, the time that other people use, because me, I don't actually watch sport, I don't watch soccer, I don't watch movies anymore. I used to watch movies. I don't do a lot of things that most people do. I don't club,
yeah,
right? So that's why I've even got this time. This is my spare time when I'm doing this interview with you, right? So
yeah,
all this time it's blocked out. So sometimes me, I've always had this mentality whereby I look at things in this format, Umed.
yeah,
When I'm watching this guy, like I could enjoy something and that's fine, right? It dawns to me that I'm watching this person doing their job, right?
yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't like what they're doing. Like there's a lot of good content. Before you called me, I was watching. I don't know if you know Myron Golden,
Yep,
this black guy with white beard and likes talking about finance, and was saying a lot
yeah,
of good things. I could watch. If you start watching that guy, you could start watching him like for over 2 or 3 episodes. But at some point, I'm like, okay, fine. I've watched this guy. He's a content creator. He's doing his content. That's why I could watch it. Okay, fine. I like what you're saying, but pause. Let me pause your item. Let me start making my own content. Do you get it?
yeah,
Because me, in order for me to be like where he's at, it's just like the same. I'm deviating a bit here, but it will make the same
yeah,
point. Back
yeah,
in the day when I was growing up in Bulawayo and I had other friends, one of my friends sounded like 50 Cent, and then another guy in the neighborhood, people used to say, oh, this guy sounds like AKA. And then this other guy, people used to say he sounds like Drake. And me, I wanted to sound like me. Because my felt like, no, the reason you like 50 Cent is because 50 Cent sounds like 50 Cent. The reason that you like Wheezy, or the guy who was said to sound like Wheezy, it's because Wheezy is being Wheezy, which might tap into another talking point that I think we had discussed back on the back end, by the way, on...
Yeah.
I've got mixed opinions about that, right? But I just felt like Wheezy, the reason you guys like Wheezy, because when I listen to this guy, DMX, back in the day, I never would have thought that somebody could have a hoarse voice like that and be said to be singing. Because I come from a family background where if my mom had heard that, right, my mom would have said, this person will never succeed in music, period. Like, let's say DMX or Jaru, right? But guess what? Those guys succeeded with the whole, and I think they had a battle about that voice, actually. By the way, they did, right?
Yes,
but I'm saying they so each person, like, even if you thought that this voice doesn't work or this doesn't work, no, it works because that person is being like authentic. Now I digress. Let me go back to. So for me, I then realized that my time, there are two things. I could spend my time consuming other people's stuff, or I could spend my time producing. And when I spend my time consuming, I'm consuming to produce. I'm a different kind of consumer. So if I'm listening to Dave East, Black Thought, Immortal Technique, even the Bad and Bougie, what are these guys? Migos. I'm not talking just deep guys. Deep. That's why you see Makatende guy's got a bit of another feel, which is not the usual item, right? Because I'm listening to other people, but I don't listen to. I no longer listen to listen. I listen as an artist to produce. Even when I watch an interview, P.S. Morgan, whatever, right? I'm thinking of, okay, when I have an interview with Gumete, yeah, how can I make that better? How the interviews that I liked, how were those people articulating themselves? So even when I'm consuming, I'm kind of making that in order to produce.
All right. Nice. Yeah. So I want to touch on your posts, some of your posts. I will start with the one that the world now is still kind of fighting about who's better between Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. So you say something about replay value. You had a post about replay value between Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
And Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, so you say that Drake has a replay value. I'm not sure if you're saying that Drake is better than Kendrick Lamar.
No,
so
I'm not saying.
Okay. Yeah, so I want probably to explain and maybe shed more light about what you meant on that platform before I switch.
Yes, I know. Okay, now on one hand, right? Again, because me, when you judge whatever I do on social media, because the motive of social media, I don't care what anyone says. Yes, I'm a cloud chaser. Because like, why else would you be on social media? So some of the things I know that I'm riling up the Kendrick fans. I know how they are, but on another hand, I can mean it as well, but not the way they. I have to make it sound provocative, right? Both Drake and Kendrick, and even the guy who tapped out, what's his name, J. Cole. All of those people, I think they're brilliant MCs, and all of them, they can make any kind of track. If Drake wants to be deep, he can be deep. If Kendrick wants to be deep. Now, when I speak of replay value, right, that's kind of subjective, but there are certain individuals who make songs that just have more replay value, even if we're to talk about subjectivity. There are some people over the years who just make music where you can play it over and over again. If I were to start doing my laundry right now, right, and I leave my laptop and put it onto some Bluetooth speakers nearby so that I can listen to my music, I'm trying to get a playlist which I'm not going to have to go and like skip a song because I'm not in its mood. So I'm trying to put some things that are going to be Not that someone who's got a song which is in depth is not doing the right thing. No, they are, but it's not for that occasion. So when I talk of replay value, I'm saying personally for me, because I know that some people may disagree. Most of Kendrick Lamar's songs, of course, there are some that may be an exception. We're talking on average versus Drake. Most of Kendrick Lamar's songs are songs where you can like it. There are some you can like the song and you can appreciate the buzz, and you can even say it's deeper. It's actually deeper than the Migos, but the Migos have more replay value. So I'm not even talking Drake. It's deeper than Future, but Future got more replay value. But you can't play it when you're trying to. You can't play it over and over again. It's a song that you can listen to once and you are full, which might be a compliment. So you don't have to have a lot of it. You just need it once. It might actually be a compliment because me, like you said, in the medical professions, for example, like if you look at a pill and disclaimer, this is not medical advice, blah, blah, blah. This is not medical because we could get into trouble for that. But on average, if you look at it, any pill and it's got a small dosage, it's probably more powerful than the one with the higher dosage. Let me give you two examples. There's a pill for pain called diclofenac, right? I don't know if you know it or not, but a lot of your viewers may have used it before. There's one called diclofenac, and there's one that we used to call paracetamol. Paracetamol, when you typically get the dosage, it's going to be 500 milligrams. Diclofenac is going to be 50.
All right.
Why is diclofenac 50? Because it's more powerful in terms of pain relief. If you were to put it at 500, it means that's like 10 of the diclofenac.
10 of those.
That's an overdose.
Overdose.
Right? So it's not a diss if I say that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That it's
no.
So
yeah,
another layer I want to add now when it comes to specifically the two artists that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think there is xenophobia and tribalism in America. There's been this wave in the world of they not like us for a long time. And I'm not saying Kendrick he might be tapping into that. Like if you went to America today and started living there, you're a tether. That's what you're a tether. You get what I'm saying? So some people may deliberately not support Drake, even if Drake had gone hard. He wasn't going to win in an industry owned by America, where for years artists have felt like, how is this Canadian moving on us? So that's a Nigerian girl going to Miss Universe ahead of South African contestant, whatever, right? Like, so it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, whatever. They're never going to accept that. Again, I'm not saying because Kendrick Lamar did do what he did, but I'm saying it adds more value. And that's why he tapped into the not like us. He knows how people feel. That's how you are being. If you're an artist, you kind of know the undertones of what people really think about someone or something. Just look at anything, even any battle that's ever happened, whether in Zimbabwe, South Africa, even between Jeezy and Noble, whatever, anything that those guys said about each other, it's already stuff that was kind of like in the air. It wasn't like it was brought to our consciousness. So each guy, when they were writing their bars, they knew, oh, people always say that this guy, he failed at this, or this guy is doing wrong at that part and whatever. So Compton was not going to let Drake, because Drake people have always had a love-hate for him, because we don't like Abom Lava. We don't like them R&B guys. We do, right? We don't like them.
Yeah, when it comes to hip hop, I don't rate Drake. I don't rate Drake. Sorry, when it comes to hip hop,
why though?
He's got 1-2 songs which okay,
No,
it's
but don't you
simple,
think
but otherwise it's
but
a
you
pop
know that
star.
is
That
is
guy.
a piece. No,
It's
but do you agree that he can get lyrical?
yeah, he can, but he's very commercial and he keeps
Yeah,
it
it's
he keeps
exactly.
it wavy. He keeps it wavy. He keeps it for
Why do
the
we
for
why
the
do we
girls.
hate wavy guys?
He keeps it for the girls. So his music,
Exactly.
so he's a
But why
certified
do
lover
we?
boy.
Because me too.
He's a certified lover boy. I don't listen to that
Yes,
stuff. So
me too. Right. So
yeah.
it means that. But why do we hate guys like that
No,
in
I don't
general? I'm
hate
not
him.
saying everyone.
I
No, I'm
I
not.
don't
We don't
hate
hate them, but we don't like them. Okay. Do you like who's in Zimbabwe? Who's like that? I
him.
don't like. I don't like them. And I'm not saying I hate the person. That's not what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
But me, I prefer Talk Money to Takura. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't like them guys who's like, why do we hate? But can,
Probably
but
was
can we
too
say,
old for the
but
sun.
wasn't Takura
Probably,
like bringing it on us like that? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a time when
I hear you.
somebody could come with hard bars like Malcolm Funde type bars, scenic.
Yeah,
You want those to be glorified.
uh, yeah,
But Takura was taking the torch. That's all I'm saying. So
yeah,
Takura can rap. Takura can sing, just like Drake, right? But
yeah.
there was this energy that's just the same that Drake gets, where even me, including me, right? Yeah. So F that that guy, that Takura guy, because why is my girlfriend busy doing like me? I just released a track on Friday. On Monday, why is my girl doing her stories with Takura track and
Sakura
not my
track.
daughter track?
I hear you. I hear
They're
you.
not like us.
Now we bring it to the local scene. To the local scene.
Yes.
There is a culture of, I don't know if we are not allowing ourselves to take a button stick like in a relay. We give the next person the button stick to run and take advantage of the distance that we've traveled to say, okay, this might be an 800-meter race, but
Mhm.
I took this from the first runner. I'm the second runner. You're the third runner. Here the pattern. You're starting from here, so you have this advantage coming back. So specifically, I know Munya Mataruse was vilified for sounding like Oliver Mtukudzi. Like, where is the problem with that? So they are not allowing any form of inspiration to influence your sound. Otherwise, you're a copycat. Sungura comes from DRC. If people didn't know, Sungura, the sound that we have,
Okay, yes.
was created using the rumba sound. Is an adaptation. It became our thing because of the language. But if you go back to
Okay.
DRC and listen to their
It was
instrumentation,
adopted.
their dancing, you will see that probably the only thing that's unique to Sungura is probably Porotel. If you go to the same sound, which sounded like Sungura, which was about Solomon schools and the like, the only thing that will be different might be the language and the dances, but the sound itself, its origin, will still go back to the DRC and the adaptation that happened along the way. So as
Along the
Zimbabwe,
way.
I'm not allowing all these artists to have a basis to say, I love what McPotar is doing, so this is where I will start. I will grow into this, probably change, diversify as maturity comes through, as other elements comes through, other influences
Yeah.
come through, and probably find myself. Case in point, Stana had a video in the past week where you were saying the Angwere light and Ngwere this, Ngwere that, all those people are making money, being hired, winning a Jaguar, using my name, my sound. So why would Ngwere allow that? If Stana says if it was him, he wouldn't have allowed such a thing to
You
be
wouldn't have
celebrated.
allowed that.
He
Okay.
wouldn't
So I
allow.
think that
Then
okay.
there's so many examples. Oriano, they say sound like Japreza. So
Yeah,
there are so many of
Japreza.
these artists.
Okay.
That have been blamed of
Yeah, of
sounding like whoever. And you are a country which has been clamoring for decades to say we need a local sound. We
A
need a local
local
this.
sound.
Who will start
Okay.
the local sound and who will not be blamed for following that local sound? So
Okay.
what's the formula? What is happening with this? So your opinion on that?
My opinion on that is that everything that we do, it was started by someone. Even the chair I'm sitting on, somebody copied, somebody made a chair for himself and his family. And other people saw that chairs work, so they made chairs too. That's
Yeah,
number one, right? So if we didn't have a world like that, it would mean if you're always trying to come up with your own thing, we wouldn't even have language. Because you could say that, why should I say these words that this other guy? Let me also talk my own gibberish. So there are two issues that, or more, but I'll start with two that I'm picking up from what you said because you made a long monologue, right? Which I can split into two different opinions. But I hope by the time I articulate the two different opinions, you can see that they are not in conflict. So on one hand, there's the issue on yes, we've adopted some genres. Number two, some people are being blasted for sounding like someone else, right? Or which can be a genre. I would say to those people, they must own it, and then they must also acknowledge that they copy from that or they take from that person and be proud of it. In as much as even in rap, a lot of artists say, I was inspired by Nas, I was inspired by Rakim, and nobody ever says, oh, Eminem said, or even the delivery. Some people say that some parts of Eminem's delivery is kind of Redman anyway, right?
Yep.
Number one. And there's some people who are critical of Eminem for that, right? So you'll never be devoid of people that are going to be critical. The other thing is, while we can say it's people, you realize that even that guy, I don't know the Orano guy, but if he's making a lot of views online enough to be that famous for people to comment on him that much, it means this guy, more people or people on in Instagram, TikTok, wherever he publish. I'm sure he's publishing on TikTok or something. I did come across some posts, but I've never heard this stuff, right? Those people don't mind if he sounds, they actually like him because it sounds like Jah Praiser. The people that then come with a talking point that is bad are not necessarily the general public. There are people like you and me and people like, I'm just going to name, I'm not saying they're the ones saying that, but I want to give you so that you can get a picture. So if I name you here, I'm not saying you guys are the ones who are saying this guy is doing this, but I'm doing this so that everybody can get my point. Usually the people that will be criticizing something are people like McPotar, Boaz, Norman Theodore, Denzel Sambo. Well, and what do all those people have in common? Spectrum, whatever. They are bloggers, right? They do not necessarily represent the views of the public, although they can instigate people to start having that view if they own a big platform, such that, let's say, even if they don't own a big platform, right? A platform that benefits from controversy. Because nowadays, even me, if I've got 500 friends, but if one of them, because I've got some friends that work in Zimceleb or whatever, right? If I say something controversial to my 500 friends, some of whom work actually at Zimceleb, I'll just wake up in the morning and everyone is DMing me, and then they say, what did you say, whatever. And I realize that, they just clipped my post, right? Because they also need that. They need narratives also. So they're going to go put that thing there. And then some people who weren't even thinking of it that way are now going to chime in, because like the thing with music commentary and entertainment, whatever it is that we do, it's cloud chasing. I said, I can cloud chase also, right? It's necessary because the algorithm won't give you anything on a platter unless we're boosting. You get what I'm saying? So there's more engagement if you're going to say something a bit more a bit negative-ish about someone, because when you chose the Orano guy and say, hey, it's not original, what? Okay, if you don't think it's original, you could have chosen not to write about him. How about, let's say, Sokoma Temai, he's original. How come you haven't written about him? Because you won't get clout. Because in order to write about Sokoma Temai, you're going to have to like praise him. And I thank you for this interview actually, because you are promoting also my brand, right? But sometimes with how we work, because I'm also a blogger, it's like some people are waiting to write about me when I make a public mistake, or when there's something to criticize about how I'm doing things. Now, without going around, because I know you've got a lot to say after this, right? So let me try and wrap it up. But another thing, like when somebody starts calling themselves Ngwere Light on a self-esteem perspective, I'm inspired by a lot of people. Kanye, I don't call, like, okay, that's their choice, but I would encourage those young people to, it goes back to, I think I said something about somebody who was saying to sound like Drake. It's okay to be inspired by, to emulate. Don't imitate, emulate. Don't be too, like, somebody invented cars, right? One day, and we now have different kinds of cars, right? So there's no problem. They emulated, but I wouldn't go for the idea that no one else should have made cars other than the person who first invented cars. Then we wouldn't have Nissan. Then we wouldn't have all these kind of brands that we can now pick from. So once you start a style, there are going to be variants, even with it's cloning. I once watched this thing by 19 Keys. It was interesting. This guy, do you know 19 Keys? This guy, you should look 19. Yeah, 19 Keys. He said the cloning, people used to think cloning is just going to be biological. But sometimes the cloning is in the mindset, right? Because that's why they're called variants. It's called a culture. Where do you make clones? Like if you're doing biology, you have something called a culture, that petri dish. You call it a culture. And as we say, it's for the culture, it's for this and for that, right? So it's a culture, so there are going to be variants, but it's the same thing. It's like when we had CV19 back in the day, you know what I'm saying? It had many other subsets of the original, but it was this one, this one, this one, this one. So at the end of the day, let people do what they do. Then let the people who criticize. That's what they do best. There are also variants of critics also. And they are not coming with their own talking points. Even the people that can bring some talking points, you find out they read it from somewhere. That's why I went back to the branches. Like, you find out that whenever there's a criticism on something, I only name people I know here, and I wasn't calling them out because I named myself also. But if you trace it back, it's going to be a few, and when I say journalists, I don't mean qualified. People who journal stuff like we do, you find out that that idea, that's where it originated. So someone who reads from that, the same way somebody, if I make jokes, I've made some jokes, and then after some time I saw some platforms even in South Africa replicating my joke without giving me credit. So that if people can do that with a joke, which was clearly McPotar's, and we're just supposed to say this is McPotar's joke, imagine what we do with opinion. Somebody could watch something or listen or read something by Norman, by Kipa Nemkati. What's his name? Kipa.
Yeah, Kipa.
We know what. And then there's this guy. What's his name? I forgot his name, but he's quite good. And I think he used to write. Or Shingima Vima, right? It's Shingima Vima's opinion, and that person likes Shingima Vima's writing and consumes it and inherits the opinion. And then they also start going to argue about it. And when they get stuck, they need to go back to Shingima Vima's phone and say, okay, here I've been given a hard question, like, why do you think this and that? Like, defend your point. So they're just using Shingima Vima's talking points, or Kipanem Kati's talking points, or Norman Theodore's talking points. It's not their opinion. If he had never posted that, people wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you've touched on bloggers, quite a number of them, and one of the things, I don't know if you've seen the iharare.com post about blood.
What did they say?
So Lord made a comment. I posted something about that artists, if you're doing art, usually, which is true in Africa. I also made a comment under that. So he said that if you're doing art in Africa and you go to the diaspora, maybe for work or for whatever other reason, it's difficult to sustain yourself as an artist in the diaspora, which I believe is true even for some big artists.
It's true.
Even if they went there as artists, the environment in the diaspora, there are people, I commented and said, there are people in the diaspora who are in the position of upcoming, those are the people that you'll be competing with. Those people already have a birthright to that land, to those resources, to those channels, and you are coming in, you have all these other dynamics that makes you whoever you are. And then Harare.com specifically said, plot this title. So that was their post in the morning, and then Plot called them out. Other people called them out. They apologized at the end of the day. But
Okay.
I see that a lot. I see that a lot. It's not even with Zim, even with some
everywhere.
artists. It's like I know recently, Mazwai, Mtsigi Mazwai, also had to wear an apology today or yesterday because of what he had said about Gayton Mackenzie and Unachi having relationships or having slept together, whatever the case may be. Is there a way? I'm coming to the point of: is there a way of instilling some form of discipline? Is there a responsible way of cloud chasing? There a responsible way of trying to do whatever it is that you're doing, but in a responsible way without dragging people, because I understand.
I
wanted
understand
to comment about the Plot's comment, but how do you drag Titan? Like what's going on in your mind? Like,
you want people to click.
Yeah, how did you arrive at dragging Titan into this post? So those are the things. And, I'm saying this because at the end of the day, it discredits all of us. It affects everything that we do. And people who are trying to say we are closer to certain news that the traditional media does not have access to. I am able to get that and put it out there without going through an editor, without having a hierarchy that will go through my system and spike my system. So so how do you find that balance? How do you do it?
Okay, I think the sensationalism, like you said, it's always been there, right? Number one. It's unfortunate that some people are not professional. And what you guys did actually to call him out and many others, I think that's the first step, because we can't do anything about it. It's just like some people are not supposed to steal my clothes on the washing line, but they could still do it no matter how long. That's why we ended up having police. There are certain bad behaviors that human beings do, and you may not like them, but those people already, you can't take them back to childhood and reform them. They already grew up how they grew up. They're already unruly. They've never respected other people. I'm actually noticing that I didn't put my phone on silent. I want to put it on silent in case somebody tries to disrupt us. But I guess like what you're saying, like there are many. Yeah. So there are a lot of people that just do this thing because they want money and they want clout, and they don't have the same principles you and I have. That's why we have to get into the game hard and unite, because these people are willing to use sensationalism, which gets a lot of views. They're willing to use clickbait. They're willing to propagate things that are not true. There was a story that said that was propagated where Shadaya claimed that there's no Zim hip hop artist who's ever done, which is not true on many levels, right? Who's ever done collaborations with someone in the States or abroad. to which
Yeah.
there's many of them, including Rhyme Assassin. He just went into my
Yes.
head. The outspoken. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's now. I can't blame him for not knowing. It's at another level. I blamed us, the ones who know. Like, why don't we publish that? Of course, me, when Rhyme Assassin did his collaborations, I did publish that, but maybe I'm not big enough. If we worked as a big front
Yeah.
to speak the truth would be out there, and anyone who didn't know the truth is the one who'd be ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I like what you guys did. If you guys spoke out against it in mass, and I didn't know that happened. When I get back on Facebook, I'm going to look for the post, and I'm also going to publish against that. We must be unified in our messaging and have an agenda. Sometimes when you watch online, they often demonize, in media, even there is agenda setting theory. But it's not always a demonic agenda. Sometimes the agenda of the media is good, such as when the government made a New Start Center and so on. They made a plot to say, we're going to make programming that makes people conscious of what causes HIV and not to stigmatize those who've already got HIV or affected by or living with it, and educate people that is, even if you do get that verdict, it's not that bad. And they made something called Studio 263. That's media agenda setting. It's not malicious. It's not a conspiracy theory about New World Order or anything. It's something that was good for the people. Likewise, we can now combine, as we've been doing. I know we've been doing that behind the scenes. So it's not like we're discussing this now. To speak the truth about things that are going on and even plot what he said, it was the truth. Right?
Yeah.
Some people may have come to mind, but it's because they were speaking the truth. So that's like going to a church and the pastor who doesn't even know somebody else is speaking, right? Like going to church and the pastor who doesn't know about somebody that they're in the church, and the pastor is just speaking. It just, whatever they're saying, it just happens to go into your field, as Shonas would say. The shoe fits, right? But you shouldn't take it even offensively. You should take it like, oh, he's saving my life. Like me, if I do certain behaviors and I'm moving a certain way, says, this young man, and then he says exactly what I've been doing, right? Should I be mad at the pastor and like, pastor, the pastor was targeting me, or should I be like, whoa? So this thing is actually a pattern that even the pastor, unbeknownst to him, he doesn't even know what I'm doing in my life, but he just articulated a certain pattern because it's actually, I should actually behave. So it's not unique to me. It's something that has been figured out by somebody wiser that no, this tends to happen. And yes, Plot maybe in thinking of those things, maybe he did think of Titan, but maybe also he thought of many artists, because for him to make a conclusion that this happens in the diaspora, he can't have meant Titan. Because you can't take one individual and say, sir, let's say something happens to someone who's in South Africa. Oh, people go to South Africa. No. It means I've seen a number of people going to South Africa, or a number of. So even if I did consider you when I was thinking the post, it doesn't really mean the post is about you. It just means I'm recognizing a pattern which you are also part of the statistic. And people want to personalize it, can personalize it, whatever, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's come to Zim Dancehall. I think Zim Dancehall in Zimbabwe is one of the most constant changing topics for one reason or another. There's always Zim Dancehall. If it's whether you're talking of Winkiji, there's always an issue of Zim Dancehall, whether it's the colors or we talk about Gwere that you've been talking about. So Zim Dancehall is one of the biggest genre in the country. And at the moment, we also have the man of the moment, which is Master H, who's doing big things.
Yeah. Master H is doing good.
Yeah. Yeah. So my question on the Zim Dancehall, we've been talking about local sound. I mentioned that before, but I'll go back to the point of having a Zimbabwean local sound that is sellable to the world. That is something that you can take out to the world. The quick thing that comes to me is afrobeat and amapiano, how they've done it, how they've managed to go beyond the borders, to go beyond their own borders. What could be done to Zim Dancehall? Don't tell me about changing the name to Ngoma, but what could be done to
Zim Dancehall
sound?
Do you think it's a
for example, I will give you an example of Ten, who's a Nigerian artist. Ten has a song called Money, which is currently trending globally. So she's talking about a subject.
Where is she from?
Nigeria.
Nigeria, okay.
Yeah, she's talking about a subject that has been there, like everyone has spoken about it. So she speaks about, I would rather cry in a Bentley, sipping Hennessy, and dry my tears using a dollar bill. That's the lyrics of the chorus.
The song.
Of the chorus, yeah. It talks about even in her pain, she would rather be able to visit Ibiza or Ibiza, whatever, and do all those things, which with all the people will say,
yeah, people have always,
whatever.
yeah, it's a sentiment.
But how can someone maybe cheat on me? Is it better and cheat as in a jaguar, whatever. So they prefer to say,
yeah. There's always
this pain would be better, this pain would
that
be
idea.
better,
I think it's a global idea.
The global thing is something that has been there, but she's been able to package that thing such that on TikTok, I don't think I go through 5 or 6 videos without 10 coming through right now at the moment, and she's been. That video has been trending probably for a month now or two, like the song of it, because I think she released the single first and then she released the video. But that sound on TikTok is on thousands and thousands. Yeah, and then with Zimbabwean artists, we've been able to go on TikTok very fine, but the people that seem to trend are our comedians, people who are just content creators or whatever else, but not music.
No, not music.
So, yeah, what can we do? What can we fix? What can we subtract? Or what could change?
Okay, so I think like that's a big question on that one. What I would say is, and I'm not an expert in this, because if I were, then my stuff would be trending also. But I couldn't help but be like, oh, really? When I was watching an interview on Zoomcast, which you've been interviewed on it, I've been interviewed on it by MC Taito. Shout out to MC Taito. But he had Sean Macheza on it. Shout out to Sean Macheza. And they were speaking on the same topics that we are pretty much touching on in some instances. And Sean Macheza said something that I didn't know. He said that Nigerian music and Afrobeat and whatever started being played in American clubs because Nigerians in the diaspora, because Nigerians tend to make money. I've been in South Africa before. They tend to make big lots of money so they can call shots, because if you're in the VIP section and you're the one who actually really gave that club for that day, for the night, most of the money that they have, right? They could go tell DJs that we're tired of this hip hop and R&B, whatever, from America. Can you play this guy called Davido? Can you play this guy called? So them bingers, one thing we have to admit is that money counts. Even if somebody is marketed, and they always do that, billionaires and millionaires, because even they try to act like Elon Musk was poor. They always market someone who benefited from the effects of money and say, no, this person went viral because of good ideas. How many people that got good ideas, even good concepts, even in Zim? Because a lot of times, even some lighties that send me songs, right? I'm like, damn, this song, this lighty, this thing. And I'll be thinking that thing go viral, then that thing doesn't go viral, because it will be also, just like you said about that idea, it ticks all those boxes. But how come it doesn't go viral, right? So the Nigerians, again, they've been united in creating their media agenda setting, and not only in music. Maybe we need to start even with the comedians. If the comedians are the ones who are getting clout, why aren't we putting our music as the soundtrack, or talking to those comedians to do something a bit longer form and say, okay, I won't even charge you, because once you start charging people, someone like, no, so no, you go get stock sounds, right? Can I do the soundtrack to your item? What's his name? Comic Elder or whoever, or Astra. Can I do a rap that comes with this, and then we license it and we do it this way, so that, because me, I feel like America, even the way it's able to sell us sneakers and t-shirts and whatever, and the stuff you wear, it's a Puma, they whatever, right? Is because they already sold us their art and they owned the mediums. That's why I'm studying websites. That's what I can start. They started radio stations, record labels, mediums to distribute their narrative and their artists, and act like those artists were the best, and even give them and say that they were the best, which there is no proof to sometimes, because it's whom they choose to put in front when there is someone else. So may I feel like with Master H going there, salute, right? But even him, I don't know him in person. If he ever watches this, or if somebody clips it for him on a TikTok, you never know where content goes after you make it. It's like, because I'll get into another talking point, right? The access that is now got to, who's the artist he met there in Jamaica? Capleton. Master H, I'm saying Capleton, or whatever. And I'm sure a whole lot of other people. Most of us in Africa, right? Or not saying Africa, in Zimbabwe, maybe sometimes. When I meet somebody, then it's a collabo for myself, and I'll never give that contact to another person, or it doesn't have to be Capleton, because once you've got the Capleton network, it's like, if Master H is friends with Holy 10, then he could hook up Holy 10, another collabo with another guy, because obviously Capleton knows Sizzler, Capleton knows. So it doesn't have to be the same feature to say everyone went and did with Capleton. No, there are other young artists that they're grooming there. Because let me try to get to my point, because I look like I'm mumbling here. What I'm trying to say is, what happens in Africa most of the time, let me say in Zimbabwe, is that the moment I meet Sway in the morning, what's his name? Sway Calloway. I'm trying to say, no. Me, I want to list this contact until me, I'm the one who's on a Sway interview, or I have an interview with Sway, or, no, I can't give Gumede. Because if I give Gumede, maybe Sway might like Gumede more and might do the first item with Gumede. I want to be recorded in Zimbabwe as the first person who only did something with Sway. That's why you can find out, do you know there are many Zimbabweans? Sometimes you find out, oh, there's a Zimbabwean guy called so-and-so or something Manika, whatever, in Google. Top position.
I know the guy.
You get, and I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying, like, so you'll be shocked that how come nobody from here is getting a plug on that, right? And some of our celebrities, sometimes they've gone even to South Africa, presented shows or become big DJs. I don't know. I know that South Africa is difficult to just pull in anyone, right? To a point where by the time they need Zimbabweans, it's now when, but somebody went and enjoyed maybe 12 years, right? Driving Ferraris, coming and acting like they're not even Zimbabwean, and being in pictures with those people, right? And then when those people, something happens there, and then those people are now chastising that person, then that person now starts putting the xenophobia card, or try saying Zimbabweans coming solidarity. Like, my guy, you were there with those people, right? Others said were smelly, on camera, right? But not at one point did you think of like, oh, me, I'm now doing this in comedy, right? Oh, but it's tonight etiquette. Let me get my boy. Not necessarily for the same shows you're doing. I get it. Like, everyone wants to keep their bag. So it's just like me. Let's say again, let me go back to the Sway. I'm like, no, man, I'm going to keep Sway here. But Sway, don't you have some other small light as well running podcasts in in New York, whatever. I don't know where those guys are, Boston, whatever. I don't know America, right? Yeah, I got. Yeah, can you hook up my guy Boaz? Because me, I'm still. It's fine even if me, I still want to keep that. Me, I'm the one with the contact with Sway, eh? But I'm saying, me, let's say I go on that Sway adventure and whatever, and a lot of things happen and people congratulate me, but I'm the only Zim blogger out of all these bloggers. I went and then did stuff. I'm now doing things at Complex. Then you know those deals, even an American can come and say, hey, those people screwed me over. That deal was bad. I didn't know. I was young. I was whatever. After so many years, and then they screw me over. Then I start going online. My Zimbabwean friends, go and sign my petition. And no, you never brought anybody there. You know what I'm saying? So me, I feel like Nigerians, that just the fact that, going back to Sean Machesa's point, these guys that are rich and they go that side, they're going to be playing to Nigerian music. Very go. They say whatever and what. When they go there, are they really proud to go in? Because they've got enough money, because they're millionaires. Because if you're a millionaire and you go to States, like some of these millionaires are on bingers, you are even got more power in a club than a regular American who works, like you said, in UK, you guys work certain type of shifts. So the DJs in that club are going to respect you more. But are you doing what the Nigerians did to say, okay, guys, enough of Rick Ross. Put master age. Can you put only 10? Are you doing so? Me, I feel like that's where we need to go. We need to be more patriotic.
All right. I hear you. Yeah. Now let's come to the project that you're working on. I will start with the Rep Mic Matters. How did that come about, and also what is it doing? What's the vision? What are you trying to do with Rep Mic Matters, and who writes there? Like in terms of, can anyone say I want to contribute? Is there a criteria that you use on people that contributed that? So maybe these are the questions maybe people will understand after they understand first what Rep Mic Matters comes from. What's the inspiration?
Okay, Rep Mic Matter, it came as an idea to me when I was seated on a Sunday, I think it was February 9. And I just thought Rep Mic Matter rhymes with Black Lives Matter.
All right.
Right? But the idea itself of what that became is an idea I've long held for over 2 or 3 years, that I need to reignite. I used to have a platform called McPotar.com, right? I don't want to go into McPotar.com too much because we probably spoke on that in our last interview when you were at EA Ground. Yeah. But it's the same idea to platform things, because I realized that I made a mistake to end McPotar.com. That was a big mistake, and I learned through my mistakes that in this world, again, where there are many people with many agendas, we need to start building our own platforms. Because what if, I'm now bringing a twist to the previous thing, because I want our conversation to be connected to the ideas, where I say Nigerians were able to play Davido till Americans were like, oh, who's that?
This guy, yeah.
Right? But plot twist. When I first spoke, I acted like Nigerians probably went to America and were in somebody's club and they told the DJ to do that, right? That could happen. But what if, with their wealth accumulation, they actually owned the club? So my idea here is that we need to own our own platforms and make them big enough. So Rep Mic Matter speaks on hip-hop around the world, first and foremost, because if I just speak on local hip-hop, then people who already know each other are the ones who are just going to click the article. Sometimes I must talk about 50 Cent, Cameron, what they're doing, their beefs, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, so that the people from around the world who are interested in those topics, they primarily subscribe. But in so doing, if the next article is on Leon Mtembeza dropped something, this guy did something, then those people, it will come to their email. They may or may not open. It's now up to them. But it's the same thing like I'm saying they did to us. that at first they make you like something, Family Matters, whatever. They've got their own content in America, and they exported their content first. They never exported their products first. They first made those people celebrities to us. Then they exported their magazines, people, and what. Then in their magazine now they're going to tell you that look at this sneaker. Look, Lil Bow Wow was wearing this. But they first had to export the image of Bow Wow. Why can't we? It's now people are already exporting work like Zimworks and what. People are already exporting labor, even remotely. Why can't we export our style and even if we don't have a local sound? Hip hop is hip hop anyway. People, aka they didn't reinvent hip hop, stock it is. They were on Sway in the morning, right? Whichever way we're going to do it, right? Let's export our imagery. Let's export our art. But how do we do that? We have to first make them come to us. How do they come to us? If nobody knows someone called Holy 10, how are they, and they're in Atlanta, how are they going to type Holy 10 in the search bar? They are not. Do they know 21 Savage? They're going to type 21 Savage. Rap Mike Smetter can do something on 21 Savage. Or a list where 21 Savage is a keyword so that it comes up in Google. But in that list, let's put ours. Even if they are not number one, don't make them number one because someone even put them on number 49 on that top 50. People like, even if people argue, we don't know him. Yeah, now you're Googling him.
I'm going to Google him.
That's what Rap Mike's Meta is actually for. That's actually the main reason. Can anybody contribute? Yes. Of course, they have to have good writing. I'm going to vet it and whatever. Because I want a certain type of quality. Because I'm not like those guys who we are saying they don't take due diligence. So I'm not just going to take something because somebody was able. If they were not able to articulate it, I'm willing to teach some lighties. I've actually got plans to sit down with some guys, young guys, and take them through the no ChatGPT, traditional, so that even if you're going to use ChatGPT to polish up your stuff, you know why you're putting what you're putting, where you're putting it in the story. And then we're even going to go video formats. We just published our first freestyle. I asked some lights to send me freestyles, and like less than 60 minutes, so it's a real whatever. One of them, Mutume YB, I think I published it yesterday, and the beat was made by this guy called Michael Gwede, but I think he calls himself Wave Candy. Shout out to him. He's the one who actually gave me the item. And I'm going to be also reaching out to those producers like him, Michael Gwede, right? Because they're young producers. They don't yet have a certain reach like certain people that have been in the industry, like these Rayos, what Shazer, where they could sell their beats through the platform. But if somebody recognizes, even if somebody did a freestyle, somebody is going to recognize them. So if the same way these guys are doing a freestyle, these guys could merge. Because if you go and take a free beat online, then when we upload it, it's going to be flagged for copyright because it's an American beat. So these guys are going to be coming together so that there's no copyright flagging. I'm going to make these guys sign some stuff as well, basic stuff. And if anything becomes monetized, I've got preliminary different types of contracts for different people I want to engage. That is for writers, podcasters, and also artists, to make sure that if ever revenue comes, even if it's not AdSense or Spotify per se money, but even if it's money whereby you see how the Pogs, whatever, Zim Hip Hop Awards is sponsored by this alcohol company. What if the alcohol company comes and says, you guys just need to do your Rap Mike's Meta, the podcast version of it, with this bottle on your desk and drink a bit of it like drink champs. Then we have to say, okay, what if we're playlisting some music and having a listening session? And then we sign a contract with those artists and say, you guys can't flag us. You guys have to sign a release form so that you can't wake up in the morning and say that you want to strike Rap Mike's Meta for playing your song, right? But you guys, if this thing makes money, even if it's $5, $50, there's a certain way we're going to work our mathematics, of course, and consider the expenses that we use to run and divide. If it's peanuts, it's peanuts. If it's me, that's why I've always argued. You know that me, I've always had that argument whenever Zimura statistics come out, because people act like it's Zimura that made those artists get. No, Zimura is just dividing the number of airplay that it was told that you had versus the rate that was agreed. It is not the you get what I'm saying. So just like Spotify, if Spotify pays a certain amount CPM, what can you do? If your money is $4, it's $4, right? So that's how we're gonna work.
All right. Yeah. Now we come back to McPotar, the artist. You do music a lot. You post some clips which are there on your platform, but you haven't released anything into the mainstream in a long time. But you came back now with Makatendeka, and you produced something. If you can take us through that song, Makatendeka, what's the inspiration? Also, you feature Mas Black. Where can
Okay.
people-
Okay, with Makatendeka, I actually did that song with my mom in mind. Like I was going back home to Bulawayo, and I was just thinking of many instances over the last few years that have happened where I felt grateful to God, because in some instances, on my end, there's a certain time I was in South Africa, there are times I would think that things were about to end for me in a certain way, in a dramatic way, and I wouldn't be able to come back home. Then there's sometimes when I was not in harm's way, but I would get a phone call or a text, or I would see a prayer group being opened and hear that, one of my parents, my mom or my dad, because they are now, of course, of age, so health issues start coming up. This thing is going on and whatever, right? And I couldn't do anything from where I was, other than maybe support, maybe financially. But sometimes, you know how these things are. You might also be even in a fix, even for the financial part. And in some instances, you have to just offer up prayer. So through and through, we were able to get breakthroughs, and the outcomes that I wanted were achieved. And I managed to come home safely, and I'm in frequent communication with my parents, and with frequent visitation, which I always wanted. There were certain obstacles when I was away that would cause me not to be able to be there as frequently. So for me, when I made Makatendeka, it was like Christmas holiday. We broke off at my workplace for a few days for the Christmas, right? And I was like, so this Christmas I can go see my parents, because we used to break off in SA, but sometimes I'd look at the logistics of coming home, and it wouldn't be possible. And other people around me, especially they are very cultural, they're very Ubuntu, they're very communal, they're very tribal. They would host very big family gatherings that would make it very bold to you. The Nguni people are very tribal and communal people. It will make you realize that, for me, I'm the one who can't go see my folk. Not just, of course, when I say my mom, those are the primary, but there's many others, my siblings, now I can go ahead and see my nephew. And sometimes I'll see certain children that were being born by my sisters. And I'd never seen them in person. I knew them from photos or video clips that they would send me. So that's where the Makatendeka thing came from.
All right, all right. So where can it be found, and how is it doing? Also, you feature Mas Black, is it?
Massy Black.
Massy Black, yes. Is she new? Has she been doing music? Who's she?
Number one, she's not new. She's been doing music, and she's also been in the media, but does not like to be known, or does not want to be known at the moment. Artists, they've got these rules. So I adhere to her rules. So even in the AI video that I did, that's nowhere close to how she looks.
All right.
Okay, so so that's a name that she specifically made for okay, Massy Black is a very, very, very close friend of mine for years on end. And she'd never refuse to do a song with me, right? Even though she could say, I retired, whatever. If it's me, she could do a song with me. But on the condition that, even the first condition, then I said, no, this won't work. People can't accept that. She said, say that it's McPotar only. I said, no, people are going to hear lady. Now, people are going to accuse me of being, have you ever heard those stories where Zara was tricked by this guy, whatever? It's like people are going to act like me, I'm this malevolent guy that's exploiting this chick and he took her vocals and he doesn't even want to accredit her. No, come up with something. If we're not going to use your name, come up with something. Now, the song itself, I wrote the song, like I said, on the 24th of December, 2024. There's a different version of it from the one that you now know. Then I sent the song to my family. Like I said, I'm very family-centered. And for the first time, I always do send them stuff and they do like it. But I felt like this time they gave me a different reaction. This is dope. Even my dad. Right, I actually got my dad sending that to his friends because he accidentally took it and he sent me the item. Then I thought this is good, and I sent it to Raymond Rayo Beats, and I told Rayo to do another beat because the beat that I did it on, like I said about copyrights, is a beat that I could have gotten strikes for. I never bought that beat. I just got a free beat online. I just wanted its cadence, so I told Rayo, can you just follow kind of the flow or the energy of this song. And then he made the beat that we now have. And when he had the beat that we now have, I said, there are many people I thought of putting on the song. I thought, my sisters do sing. Could I put my sisters a beat? You can't find my sisters. Could I put who? So and so, so and so. And some of those people, I didn't know how to get hold of them, right? So, Marcy Black again, she's always my friend. She was in essay. She told me that, Joe, I just got here. Just got to Roadport right now. And I saw something written in McPotar Ringa. I almost told them that, yo, bring that. It's mine, whatever, it's ours. Right? And I'm like, you are here. She's like, yeah. I'm like, good. Hop onto this track. And she's like, cool. And then she starts writing to that. And then she says, my vocal range, the one that I did, because Miles, I actually sang on that, is not her vocal range. So she did some edits to it. She did some things that I didn't write. And then we met on a Sunday and we did the song at Rayo's. And some of the parts we actually writing them in the studio. And we finished. Then after some time, she was still in the country. I came up with something else. Then I sang to you also again, same way. And then I gave her. And then she kind of did something to it as well. It's not yet out, that one. And then I've got another one coming out, but it's not by her. But because we're kind of like mutual friends, it's with a person. That one, when it comes out, I'll let you know. That person doesn't mind being known. It's with another different individual, and I'm using that same format because one thing I told my sister, there's a sister of mine that I talk to so much called Eunice, and we always discuss ideas. Was me for this year, for 2025, I feel like people now know that I do hardcore bars and whatever. This time I want to, but people have always said I should songwrite for people. And I've done that before on Fiverr or whatever, and I got paid. But I know how people mean it. People want me to songwrite and to produce, right? Because people say, but you should songwrite, or sometimes I'm not the best deliverer of what I write. So I say, no, in 2025, I want to write stuff. And then I give it to someone who's got the vocals for it. So you're going to see a lot of projects like that, whether it's a male or a female on the song. I'm going to be writing stuff. And of course, they're going to help me with it because they know their own vocal range. So they're like, no, this word is disturbing me. Let's remove this word. Let's put that word, whatever. But there'll be some templates, and I'll be working with Rayo, I'll be working with PhD, Michael Gwede, many other different types of producers.
Awesome. You pre-answered what was supposed to be my next question, because I wanted to ask, are you back? Are we going to see more of you in the studio? So I understand you have more music that's coming up. So maybe your parting words, before I let you go, is there anything maybe that you would love to say about any of the topics that we spoke about?
That we spoke about. Okay, I think something that's on my heart is no matter where you are, even if you're old, even if you're older than me, if you can, start a platform that's a new real estate. Start a platform, grow a platform based on your own authenticity. Even if it's not your own, if you can get away with creating a fake image, whatever it is that you do, because that's where commerce is happening. That's the new real estate. So that the ideas that you intend to champion can be championed. Because if you don't have a platform, whether you're a Christian and you want Christianity to go ahead, Islam, whether you think that people shouldn't do this or do that, you've got no power to lobby for anything when you don't have, it's no longer the era of, I'm too much, I need to post. No. It's no longer the era of posting that you don't post. It's far gone. That's what's on my heart.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We could go on forever.
Yes, we've got a lot more conversations to do.
Sessions that to do, yeah. So we will end it here today, and then maybe we'll make time to see if we can pursue other topics.
Okay, I know. Thank you for platforming me, bro. It's always a pleasure. I think I have. You allow me in most, even in the previous one, I felt like, yeah, this is the interview I want. You allow me to say the things that I actually want to say.
Awesome. Yeah, I always believe that if you invite someone to speak, let them speak. And,
yes.
Otherwise, I would be arguing with you, telling you that no, Kendrick Lamar is better.
No, he's good, but no, he's actually. I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan as well. So sometimes I'll be just starting discussions to get people to comment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thank you so much, bro. Much blessings.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much. Until next time.